Hi.
friends. We are back with a beautiful book. A beautiful book.
Message from my teen in the spirit world.
Yes, by the medium Chico Xavier and the Spirit Neio Lucio. Yes, it's a beautiful book. That is from a boy that wrote a letter to his brother.
His name is Carlos, not his brother, the boy who wrote the message to his brother.
Yes, and he's explaining a lot of beautiful things to us through his death, what he experienced, the lack of spirituality and education about God and about life and in the spiritual world, and how he's being helped by his aunt and Aunt Eunice.
Yeah, Aunt Eunice.
Yes, Aunt Eunice. And
his grandmother Adelia.
Yes, and how everything he experienced, his illness, how he felt. It is a great example and something that we can learn from to see how we should be if someone disconnected in our families, and also
like our mom, dad, something like that.
Yes, and also what they experience on that side and what we one day will experience. So today we're going to read another chapter from this beautiful book. What is the next chapter?
It is called Classmates.
Yes, because he's going to school now in the spiritual realm. How wonderful is that?
Yes, it's wonderful.
Then we can start reading.
Classmates. After I was deemed
capable
of handling a new undertaking, I became part of a group of 28 students, all recent arrivals from the earth. Since I began my lessons, I've had the opportunity to get to know several of them. Most are
involved
in the same mental struggle as I am.
Okay, let's just stop there. Let us do this piece for piece. He says that there are 28 students with him in the class that just recently came from Earth, and then he says they all have the same problem, which is
most of them.
Yes, most of them have a mental struggle. What do you think that does? Is he meaning with say that? What do you think about that?
Mental struggle means
our thoughts.
Yes.
So
our thoughts should be at a good place. Otherwise, if it's not at a good place, then okay. If it's not at a good place, we don't have very good. Like, we don't feel very good. We don't feel very good if we have bad thoughts. We feel very good if we have awesome thoughts.
Yes, and in their case, the illnesses manifest when they don't control their thoughts. They get spiritually ill, and the body's illness, which is a spiritual illness, it still manifests in their very spirit.
Yes.
So then they are still struggling with the same illness. Okay, and that is why it's important, and also to let go, to know that we should let go, and that is why we should remember that it's also hard for those who disconnect.
Yes.
Because they need to let go as well. They're going to a new place, saying bye to family, greeting everyone, beginning with a new chapter in their eventual life. So it is hard for them too. So our thoughts and their thoughts must be of thankfulness and peace and trusting in God, I think.
Yes.
To trust in God to take care of the people that we love. Don't you think?
Yeah, like having faith in God or trust God.
Yes, to understand that God will take care of everyone. We know there's good spirits around everybody. Okay, let us continue.
The longing for our homes far away
concerns
almost all of us. Remembering what Grandma Adelia and, Aunt Eunice had taught me about balance.
your balance.
I soon understood that I shouldn't cry, but not all my classmates felt the same way. On the day of our very first class, when the teacher decided it was time for us to break for
Recess. Abelardo.
Abelardo is the youngest student in our class. Instead of accepting our invitation to go for a walk, sat in the doorway and cried. Miguelino, who was the most experienced, asked him, "So, Alberto, Abelardo, what's the matter?" Abelardo didn't say anything, but kept on crying in torment. "I know," said
Magdalena.
smiling. "You're homesick and you want to go back, huh?" Feeling understood, Abelardo looked at him and explained, "Yes, I miss Mom. I really miss Mom." Those words, spoken with such sadness, got me to my soul. I was
Suffering.
the same heartache and remembering home. I tried hard to control the tears that were trying to fall.
Magdalena.
Saw that we were all watching the scene and were all so sad and homesick.
What do you think? Because they all have the same trouble. They're still adjusting to the spiritual realm. So it's adjustment.
Yes, it's just like, imagine you are going to a new school, you don't know anybody, and let's say the school keeps you in for 4 hours, for example, or more, like a lot more hours than you. And then your first day, you say you miss your family, you miss your mom, but then you go back home. Then you go back home, but for Carlos, he can't because he's in the spiritual realm. So it's just like he's in a school but permanently forever, and he can't see his family except when his family is also dead like him.
Okay, one day he has mentally grown and is actually in a great vibration to assist them like his grandmother taught him. But she sometimes go and sees both. Remember, because they assist us still. But if they are not in a great vibration, it is not good for them to come to our homes because otherwise we can get sick and they will trigger just more sadness. If we are not stabilized and if we don't look after ourselves, do we connect with Him? Of course, we pray for everyone, and in that connection we can feel and we can still hear each other, and in that loving vibration is where we are still connected. But sometimes if you are not in that mindset yet, that is where the sadness and trauma actually is. So to remember ourselves, to be mentally stable. Because yes, of course we are sad. Yes, of course we will miss each other, company on earth. But we know spiritually that we are still connected always. And through prayer and through sending these good vibrations to each other, we help each other in this journey of evolution, isn't it?
Yes.
So if we think, we say, oh, you are, thank you. Thank you for the love. I feel this love. I have great memories. And we trust in God. And that is how we overcome all these not very healthy emotional sentiments because we are going against God's will.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue.
So making it clear that he was talking to all of us as we were so downcast. He
Patiently
explained, "We're all homesick for our loved ones back on Earth. The pain of being so far from them is something we all have in common. However, how we can how we can help those who
remain
remained behind if we continue not accepting our state of
affect. So he's very wise.
yes.
So how can we help them if we can't accept it? So it's sad. If we want to help them, we need to accept it, be thankful, know that there's a plan, and God is in. He knows what He's doing, and then accept God's plan for our lives.
Yes.
And when it's time for us to go back, here we go.
Can we solve such important problem by crying
Uncontrollably.
After all, we aren't the only ones going through such a trial. There are a few thousand kids here in this same situation, just like me. They used to suffer from being away from people they were deeply attached to. They used to feel homesick and the longing to go back. But they finally understood that no battle can be won without a lot of
Moral
bravery.
That is the important word. Moral bravery. I think that is one of the things that we can practice. We should remember that word. Moral bravery.
And they struggled with themselves to gain a full understanding.
Besides,
we mustn't forget that that our loved ones will come here too someday. We need to get ready
appropriately
by
developing
our ability to help so that we can be useful to them at the right time. So let's ask our Heavenly Father for courage and strength. That friendly
exhortation
really had an impact on our minds. Abelardo wiped his eyes, made an effort to smile, and a few moments we were all gathered under a
covering
of big trees. We felt comforted and started up
interesting
and useful.
conversations. That is also a big word. Useful and in conversations. How many times do we have useful conversations that inspire us to understanding, to help us move forward? But don't you think that is a very enlightened boy that helped them to understand that in helping themselves and in letting go and in being useful, they will
Yes.
one day be useful to their family when they go through the same things, when it's their turn to return to the spiritual world. And even if we are on that side, we know that we can be helpful. So, are we helpful now so that we can
Yes.
continue what we are doing at the moment?
Yes, and we are also trying.
Yes. So,
And
yes, now you can continue.
yeah.
Okay, so, and that is why we practice already. What are we doing now? Because what we do now, how we educate ourselves, what we practice each day, is going to continue when we return to the spiritual world.
Although we won't remember we were here, we will still have some kind of memory, and we will still have a chance to do what's right.
Of course.
And most grown-ups don't even understand those words that about sorry, I can't pronounce that name right. But the boy who did the speech, most grown-ups can't even understand that.
Yeah, exactly. And some are upset with God because sometimes they ask, why are God taking people? Because we know when we are born, we're going to die. We know there's a lifespan. And in that lifespan, we are learning, we are giving back because we know we are here to evolve, to be helpful, to in our trials and expiations at the moment, to not only for ourselves, we have to focus on others, to be there, to listen to be of help, and to overcome our own weaknesses. And in a lot of things on earth, there is trials that every one of us, each and every one will go through. But in that trials, we should never forget that Spiritism helps us with so much knowledge to assist us to help our moral balance go forward so that we can be morally balanced, which I love that word, to work on that. Morally brave, isn't it?
Yes.
To look at things in a
different perspective.
In another way than the norm. And we would say, yes, some adults don't understand. I understand what you're saying, but are they still adults or are they still kids? And we have this mindset of kids, a kid mindset, and then an adult mindset. But when you learn and when we look at things in a way, in a spiritual way, we are in an adult mindset because we take responsibility for actions.
Yes.
Yes.
Some adults is I have saw some adults that it has a mind of a toddler and a body of a grown up.
It's true. Yes, you get that. But not to judge, to know that they still need to learn as well.
Yes.
But where are we? If we look at ourselves, where are we mentally? Yes, what do we learn? How do we educate ourselves? What do we practice? Because it's not only words. I can't just read and talk about things. It must be an action like Jesus. Jesus is the greatest example of words in action.
Yes.
He's
and
working.
we have to explain everything to everyone that they can actually understand. Like just what we read right now.
Yes. So this is a great book. especially for adults and kids. I won't say just kids. I would say adults and kids.
For every single
Yes.
person on the planet.
Yes. I thank you again, beloved friends, for joining me and Zellie for this beautiful book. We love this book and we enjoy
Reading it.
reading and discussing it together. If there's anything that you need to say and something that we can maybe can learn from you, that is wonderful. Thank you so much again for Kodak Radio for giving us a platform so that we can also share what we are learning. Yes. Thank you so much.
And always do the good.
Yes, until next time.